The digital divide is a social problem that is the gap between those who are advantaged by technology and those who are disadvantaged by technology. Essentially, it is the unequal access to technology. Digital gaps in education, employment, race, and gender are evident in society and are a worldwide issue. It is evident that those from a lower socioeconomic background are most likely to be disadvantaged by the rise of information and communication technology, also known as ICT, in society and in education. As ICT rises in society, the gap is getting bigger and bigger. The divide has many effects on those negatively affected by it, such as less equal access to valuable information and learning resources. Rogers quotes, as the infusion of mass media information into a social system increases, segments of the population with higher socioeconomic status tend to acquire the information at a faster rate, rather than the lower status segment, so that the gap between these segments tends to increase rather than decrease. So, how does the digital divide affect education and participation? Well, Howell brings forward the idea that the 21st century students are digitally expectant and expect that their school life will be rich in digital technologies. This means that educators are expected to enrich student technology skills in the classroom in order to produce digitally fluent students. Many schools use ICT in a modern day classroom, and as a result of this, technological disparities are evident between students and between schools. For example, schools with a higher socioeconomic status are most likely to have a good quality ICT in the classroom and laptops or digital devices per child, ensuring easy access to digital devices and the internet. This will ultimately advantage those students against the students of a low socioeconomic status who are unable to afford a laptop per child, thus limiting their access to ICT and valuable learning resources. This means that low socioeconomic students are inevitably discouraged in education, as they do not have the same access to valuable learning tools that those of high socioeconomic students do. As well as this, the lack of affordable broadband is a factor of the digital divide. Students from a low socioeconomic background may not be able to afford internet at home, and therefore are digitally excluded from learning resources that those of high socioeconomic backgrounds have access to in their homes. Students who are disadvantaged when it comes to ICT in the classroom are also disadvantaged when leaving school and in the job field. Digital technology is affecting the jobs that are available to people who are advantaged by the digital gap and those who are not. Most jobs in the 21st century, especially those that pay the highest, require employees to be digitally fluent. Thus, those who are digitally advantaged side will have a step up over those who are not. It is evident that those who are disadvantaged on the digital divide are not only disadvantaged in education, but also for future job prospects. So, bridging the gap. Schools are a valuable environment that may aid in bridging the digital divide, as this is where students should be educated in becoming digitally fluent. However, it is important to note that the digital divide is not merely the lack of computers, but also a lack of proper training in educators. It is not enough to simply get a computer or a digital device per student and internet in the classroom. It is essential that educators are properly trained in ICT in order to integrate technology in the classroom and work towards bridging the digital divide in education. Without the proper training, teachers will not be able to utilize technology in an efficient way to help bridge the digital divide.